Hello, my name is MGill Gaming, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to mod the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. Now, I know this is an old topic that has probably been done to death, but I want to show you guys how to do it my way. Now, seeing we already have Skyrim Special Edition installed, I'm assuming you already have the game and you're just interested in modding it because you've seen it or heard a lot about it and you want to try it out for yourself. So, the first thing that we're going to have to go ahead and do is open up your Internet Explorer or Chrome or whatever browser you use and go to nexusmods.com. Now, you can create an account or choose not to for right now. I personally do have an account because I mod games frequently. And then you see down here your selection of games. You want to click on Skyrim Special Edition. Then from here you're going to see the hot mods, or the popular mods right now on the first page, and then some additional mods beneath. Personally, starting out, the first thing that I do is download my modding tool, which is Mod Organizer. This is the first thing you need to mod. You could use Vortex, but I personally don't necessarily care for it, so I'm going to assume that you're going to use Mod Organizer 2 for this. Click on the installer version. It's going to ask you to donate. You don't have to. It's totally optional. But it does help the content creators who put in a lot of time to make these mods. Alright, once it is finished downloading the installer, go ahead and click on it to open it up. At launch, and then your computer is going to ask you for administrator permission because it's an unknown package from the internet. Not a problem in this particular situation, it is safe. However, always double check what you're downloading to make sure it is in fact safe. But in this case, I've used this program and I know that it is safe. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. This is just the license agreement, blah, 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 usual stuff. Hit accept. And then, now you have to go and create a folder. Okay. Probably should have done this part in advance. But anyways. New folder, Skyrim Special Edition. Browse. There we go. That's where I want to put it. Go ahead and select that, hit next. It's just going to install everything for every game that it supports. That's fine, because then you can just switch between the profiles if you wish to mod other games with Mod Organizer 2. So once you've done that, I usually skip the handle and Nexus links. I prefer manually downloading. It's more clean and organized. But if you're going to use the quick download option from Nexus, you can go ahead and click that. But I'm going to skip it in my step. Next. And then it'll create a shortcut. I'm going to tell it not to create the shortcut in the Start menu folder, but if you want to, leave that box unchecked. Next, and I don't want a desktop shortcut either, so leave that unchecked. Cool, now we're going to go ahead and install it. And now we launch it. So we're going to create a new instance of Mod Organizer 2. Skyrim Special Edition, okay. It's just telling you the path where it puts the information. It's actually good to make note of this path because you may need to go there later to manually edit certain files or find certain files. So just maybe jot that down or take a screenshot of it. Cool. Browse. Go to Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Skyrim Special Edition. Cool. It's going to find the information it needs. Cool, now we're going to maximize it. So, the first thing that you're going to see is Skyrim Special Edition. Right here. You click on that, you're going to see Special Edition Launcher. You're going to see loot already shows up. I will show you how to get loot and explain exactly what it is in a second. We'll get to that a little bit later today. And then over here, your DLC show up. Now you'll also notice over here, this is what's called a load order. So it shows you what ESMs are active, or which files are active, and the order that they're currently in. Skyrim, obviously, is the master file that the entire thing runs on, so it's first in the load order. Then the update that it had, followed by the DLCs. Not necessarily in the order in which they were released, though, I'll note. Anyways, so there's all that. Now, we don't need to worry about that. The next thing you're going to need, if you are modding, is Skyrim Script Extender. Now, in Old Rim, if you're using Steam, you can just go get it from Steam. However, for SKSE 64, which is the Skyrim Script Extender for Special Edition, you cannot just download it from Steam. They never made it available on Steam. So we're going to go to Google and literally just type in SKSE 64. And you'll see here where it says sksesilverlock.org. That's where you're going to want to go. Now check which one that you're clicking on, because this is for Old Rim, Special Edition, and then VR. So make sure you double check which one you're choosing. In this case, I want the Special Edition one. So go ahead and let it download. It's just going to go to your Downloads folder. So here's the Downloads folder. Now I'm going to create a new folder. C64 2 15. And I'm going to extract this, if I can. There we go. Yep. So I'm going to extract all of it to that folder I just created. Cool. Done. Now we're going to open this, and then we're also going to go ahead and go to the game folder, which is right here. And you're going to take all of this and copy it into the game folder. Perfect. Now that's done. Alt tab out of that. So now we're going to go over here, back up here to where it says Skyrim Special Edition. You're going to click on Edit. And then you're going to select in the binary section. So Steam Apps Common, so it takes you straight to the Common. That's perfect. That's exactly where you want to be. It may or may not take you there. You may have to find your game yourself. So Special Edition SKSE 64 Loader. Click Open. And then name it. SKSE 64, and then Add. Now, when you launch Skyrim using mods, you do need to launch it via this by simply clicking the Run button. Otherwise, your mods for the most part, will not show up because they require the extended framework from the script to actually function, which is why you need this. So then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Google and type in loot. And it shows up right here under the definition of loot. Thank you, Google. Loot.github. Go ahead and click on that. And then you'll click download. And then you, first instance, want to click on this. It's actually not where you want to click. You want to click down here. Ideally, you'll just want to go ahead and run the installer, which I already have loot, so I'm just going to kind of show you here. Pardon me. So go ahead and open it up. Come on. More info. Run anyways. Sorry, Windows security is stupid. Yes, I want to run it. Okay. Yep. Don't create a desktop shortcut because I don't want one. Because I can just access it via Mod Organizer directly. Don't worry about launching it, so finish. And then you would follow the same step that I did to add SKSC64, in that you would just type in loot, go to your binary, find it, and then you're good. Now, loot is load order optimization tool. And what you do is you'll go there, click run, and then it's going to launch. Loot will normally scan your games and find them for you, but if it hasn't done so, then go to settings, and you will just manually, I'll say manually, type in the address for where it's located. You can also right click the folder in the address bar under Windows Explorer and copy and paste it in here, which is what I did. But as you can see here, it knows exactly where it is. I found it. Great. So it has information about time. For most people, when you first launch this, they'll say NA. So you're going to do a master list revision. So updates my master list. And then you hit that button to sort the load order. Now what this tool does is it looks at all the mods that you're using, and it looks at what they do and what they affect. And then it says, okay, what needs to go before another mod to be overwritten, and what needs to not be overwritten, period. Now these crown symbols here on Skyrim, Update, Dawnguard, Hearthfire, and Dragonborn all indicate necessary files that they need. Now for that, these are all basically representing the game files, the core files. So these can't be changed in terms of load order. They must go on top in some way, shape, or form. Obviously with Skyrim being the very top one. Now we don't have any mods right now, so this isn't really going to do anything. And all these messages in the yellow are because I've already modded Special Edition. I just nuked the whole thing to start over again, so that way I can teach you guys how to do it. So we're going to go ahead and close out of loot, because we don't need to worry about that right now. Now, I'm going to teach you how to install mods. So we're going to go back to the Special Edition. The best place I can say to start is by going under Mods, and then Most Endorsed of All Time. So, the first place you want to go ahead and check is the Most Endorsed of All Time in the Mods tab. This has the most popular mods, and typically the ones I use a lot of, as you can tell from my screen, which ones I've downloaded, obviously. Now, some of these that I've downloaded, though, not all of them have been kept. Some of them I've just ended up getting rid of. So, and that's not the modding. You're going to go through mods. You're going to download them, check them out, see what you think. You might be like, I'm going to care for it, and then just delete it. Just because you download it and you play with it doesn't mean you have to keep the mod in your game. In fact, a lot of people just go through mods just to say that they've done that mod, and they don't really care for it at all. Now, my goal with my game is to maybe change some of the gameplay aspects, not necessarily in a way to make it easier, but not to make it really harder either, just like corrections, small corrections and things. Like, for example, archery. One of my favorite mods is arrow and bolt tweaks, and basically all it changes is it fixes the nav mesh so you can hit further distances. And it also changes the speed of the arrow, the penetration of the arrow and bolts, and also the flight path. And it also fixes the crosshair as well, so the crosshair isn't offset. Because in both Oblivion and Skyrim, the arrows would fire more kind of like the corner of the crosshair, not actually the crosshair. So that's one of the things that is fixed with that mod. Hence why I like it. Some of them adds like immersive armors, and also its counterpart immersive weapons adds a lot of new armors and weapons that are very balanced and very good into the game that look a lot better. And it's just variation. Switch it up from vanilla. So with that, side note here, what you see can change based on whether you're logged in or not. For example, some of the body mods probably won't appear, like CBBE or UMP, unless you are 18 or older, because they have a nude option. So just something to bear in mind. Just because it's on my screen does not mean it will be on your screen, because I am logged in. And it automatically filters based on whether you're logged in or not, and then even then by age, what you say your age is. And also, modding takes a bit of time. You know, some of these mods are quite large in size and take time based on your internet speed to download, plus also just the number of mods can take time to download. So now, in terms of core mods that you really should get, number one is the unofficial Skyrim patch, otherwise called U-Sleep. And the other thing is enhanced blood textures, because it also contains the brawler fix in it as well. And then personal recommendations would be Sky UI and a quality world map. So for just starting, like really not doing much, just a couple of mods to kind of get your feet wet, Sky UI is a requirement, because without Sky UI you won't have your mod configuration menu, otherwise called MCM menu, which is only available if you use Sky UI. So now, how to actually download a mod. So the first thing you want to do is take a look at the page, and you'll see different sections like the description about the mod, and then sometimes you'll see installation requirements or mods that it relies on, because some mods will rely on other mods, otherwise they just won't work at all. So the first thing you want to do is kind of look at the page and see what's there. So you'll see frequently asked questions about what this mod is for, and then what it needs. Skyrim, Update, Dawnguard, Hearthfire, Dragonborn, and then installation requirements, so itself, its own mod, and then the rest of your mods. Cool. So, we know what it needs. That doesn't really have a requirement except the game and the applicable DLC. So you're going to go over to Files. Now, here's where you have an option. If you were using the mod manager download, you could just click this. personally, I feel like it's less organized and a lot more cluttered. I prefer to do the manual download. So we're going to go ahead and do the manual download. And it's going to start downloading. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time. So we're going to go to SkyUI. Now, you look at it, right? Tells you what the version number is, what it is. So we're just going to go ahead and download it. Go to Files. And just check that the one you're downloading matches what it says the version number is up here. And then manual download. Cool. Now it's telling you. See, it pops up here on Nexus. It tells you this mod requires something. And that is SKSC64. Which, luckily, we already have that. If you've been following my tutorial, we've already gone and got that. Cool. Whoops. Accidentally clicked off of it. So you're going to tell it to go ahead and download. And then while we're waiting on that, we might as well go ahead and download the other ones. As a side note, depending upon your computer, you might need to choose different resolutions and versions. So if you look at this one here, for example, in Enhanced Blood Textures, it has a light version. It's because there's less performance impact on your computer versus the full version. I have a pretty good system, so I typically don't have to worry too much with, computer performance when it comes to textures and CPU usage and stuff like that. Now here, if you want to look at things, this is where the pictures really come in handy and helpful. So this here is a quality roadmap, which I personally have been using ever since it came out on Oldrim. I love it. It's great. And I can't go without it now because, as you can see, it's very clear versus the vanilla map, which has the clouds over it and you can barely see what you're looking at. Whereas this one, you can literally see the terrain on the map in the world. And you can also see the roads. Literally all of the roads, like the path to High Hrothgar. Or you can do the paper version. Here's Vivid 2. Another one that's very vivid. Now this one I think they're showing is the one with just the main roads. Yeah, I don't seem to have a good shot. There's another option, the one that I always go for. Pardon me. Which is the main roads, which is all roads. It's every road, every trail, everything. Which I personally like, especially when I'm looking for a new or unique way to go. But anyways, these pictures are here to show you what the mod does as best as they can. So it's good to look at and see what's there. If you want to see more images, if they have them available, go ahead and click on images. And it'll just show up. Now up here it tells you that these are the author's images. And then down here, these are user added images. So there we go. So you have classic with all roads, classic with main roads only, and then you have the paper, and then I like the vivid with the stone roads. Yeah, that's the one I use. Yep. So that's pretty cool. I like this one. So again, manual. Now, as you can see, some of these are done downloading. So we're going to go ahead and go back over to Mod Organizer. And now I'm going to show you how to actually install the mods. So you come up here at the top, you have your options. This will allow you to switch games once you've launched Mod Organizer 2. Because Mod Organizer 2 will launch automatically from the desktop into whatever game you were playing last. If you want to switch to a different game, you click on that. This right here is where you download your mods. You click on this. Now, it's going to open to some random drive location. that you're going to have to correct. I think it goes by last used folder. So in this case, we want downloads. And we want the unofficial Skyrim Legendary Edition patch. Now, I like to add my version numbers to the end to keep my list neat. So this is 4.1.7. If you're ever unsure what version number you have, just take a look up here where it says version number. So here's the top of the screen, and then it's usually right under the title. So here's the path to this mod, and then the information about it. It's usually right here, and if it's not there, it'll be right here under the Files tab. So there's that. It's 4.1.7. Don't be afraid to Alt-tab in and out of Mod Organizer 2 while you're installing mods. It's not going to hurt anything. I've never had a problem doing it. So there's that. So hit OK. Cool. It's going to download it. And then just make sure you check it. Because if you don't check it, it's not going to be active. That's another thing. If you want to put a mod on standby, and you don't want to delete the mod, but you're not really playing with it right now, you can simply, depending upon if there's any reliances on that mod, or like that's to say if another mod relies on it or not. But assuming it's a standalone, let's say a standalone mod that doesn't have anything that relies on it, and you're not using it, you can just uncheck it and leave it in your list. It won't impact anything. So now we're going to go do the next one, Sky UI. Cool. Sky UI. Let's see, version. Let's see here, 5.2. Cool. Go ahead and activate that. And then, now this main, that's another thing to watch out for in your downloads folder. Pay attention to what it actually downloaded as, because it's not always cleanly labeled. For example, this main is enhanced blood textures, but they called it main. But it shows up here in the installer as enhanced. So this installer is another common thing that you're going to see when it comes to mods. So just look at it. It's going to tell you right here who the author is, what the name is, which you can change here, because this is how it will show up on your list. So it tells you what it is. And then you just look down here, it's compatibility patch. I don't have immersive creatures, so I don't need a patch for it. You can choose the distance of the splatter and where it'll go. In this particular game, I'm going to go with medium. I'm going to switch it up. I've always gone long, but I think this time I'm going to go ahead and go medium. Now, I'm not using Skybird, so I don't need to worry about that patch either. And then the size is completely optional. You don't have to pick one. At which point, I'm just going to leave it alone because I've been okay with the default for a while. And then if you want to change the wound size, you can do that. It's just an option. Personally, I'm going to leave it again at the default. And then you can choose different colors and resolutions. So there's high res, reduced, and then minimal, which still looks pretty good, to be honest. But I'm going to leave that at high res. That's where I've always left it. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it there this time. And then you can add the blur option. I don't recall if Skyrim incorporated that or if that was a Fallout thing that they've then modded into Skyrim. I've been playing with this mod for so long that I honestly can't tell you where that came from, if it was original or not. But this time I'm going to go ahead and leave it off. And go ahead and hit next. Now if you want alternates as well, you can choose that. I don't normally do anything with this. I just leave it at none, or leave it at the default the way the mod author intended it to. But if you want to go through here and check all your options, feel free. It'll be, you know, something to see. Maybe you'll see, I know I like that better, and then just pick it. In my case, I'm leaving it default. Now notice this time it says install instead of next. So I'm at the end of this. I can tab back and change my choices if I choose to, but I'm good with mine. So I'm going to go ahead and install them. There's that. And then we're going to go ahead and install the map. Control X. Just check the version matches. Yes, it does. Yep. Make sure I put the version number in there, and there we go. We are good. So now I'm going to go ahead and run loot again just to kind of give you guys an idea. Since I just kind of threw these in here. So now you can see what loot is a little bit better. You can see the changes to loot. It added the extra things into it. So now this time we're going to click sort. It's going to check the master list again, and it's going to change it if it needs to. In this case it didn't, so we're good. Now if it did need to change it, there would be an apply that pops up here, which we will definitely be seeing later. Just make sure you click it. So those are like the main things that you need. Then you just think about what do you want to do with your game? What do you value? Do you want to make it like stupid physics? You know, poke someone and they go flying across the map? You can do that. You want to turn it into an anime? You can probably do that too. If you just want to retexture it and make the experience different, that's more where I'm focused at. So I'll be definitely showing you how to do that. So first thing I would start with in that regard, if that's what you're choosing to do, is just we'll start with textures and stuff like that. So static mesh improvement mod, very, very good mod, very thorough. To give you an example of what they do, this is vanilla ropes and wood textures on a dock versus what this guy chose to do. I don't want to think of how long it took him to go ahead and retexture that and design the meshes, because it is freaking beautiful. Downside, this mod is large. Let's see here. Yeah. It's at least a kilobyte there. 1,000 megs. No. Gigabyte, sorry. I'm an idiot. It's a gigabyte. That's going to take a while to download. But we're going to go ahead and click download anyways. Now, I'm getting a little sloppy here. I'm not checking requirements or anything because I know that this doesn't have a requirement. But for you beginners out there who are just starting to mod, please check your requirements on every mod page. I know it adds time. It's going to take a lot longer than it already will take to mod the game, but just be sure you do, because I have had that bite me in the butt several times where I just got lazy and didn't check my requirements, and it's like, well, why isn't this working? Oh, because I'm an idiot and forgot to download this mod, or I forgot to modify this setting. So please pay attention to the requirements. Idle. I'm just gonna go through and pick the mods that I really like. That. I'm gonna skip cutting room floor this time around. I'm gonna get Apache. I'm skipping weathers and EMBs for right now. We will do that later as we're more experienced with modding. Because that can take a little while to really fine tune And quite frankly, even though I've been modding for a few years now, since Old Rim, even I'm still not so great at weathers and EMBs, and I still screw them up. So we're going to save that for a later point in time. And then when probably after we play a little bit and get a feel for our world, then you'll want to go back and readdress that and see like, oh, you know what, maybe I do want this weather. I wish, I could have this lighting change. Because that's another thing. You need to do a lighting mod plus the weather mod in order to get the EMB to look nice. But then finding all three of those that work with each other without fighting, so to speak, is sometimes quite a challenge. So that's where it gets tricky. Plus, you need a third-party script that runs in the background to make the EMB apply. And that can be a little bit finicky as well. But they did make it more simplistic on Special Edition than it was on Old Rim. So, yes. I'm just going to go ahead and select a few mods here. And then I will, if I run into anything special, I'll let you guys know about it. But this is pretty much just going to now turn into a video of me selecting mods and installing them. So this is a mod to the Body Slide and Outfit Studio. Yes, it is a resource for creating your own outfits and creating your own custom bodies if you choose to, and it is very good at that. I personally am not so good at that, but it can also help fix issues with other outfits where clipping problems. That's the word I'm looking for. It can fix clipping issues with other mods. So if you're using a custom body and maybe you're using race menu, for example, and you've made a tweak to the body that changes it a little bit, then you can use this mod to rebuild your clothes for that body that you've made or tweaked a little bit. Or if you're just having clipping issues, period, you can rebuild the outfits to correct that issue. So even though it's of limited use, you're pretty much going to download it and maybe use it. I think I've used mine about 5 times ever. So you're not going to use it much, but it's still very much worth grabbing. Okay, so this is one of those oddball mods that requires a special installation. I'm just going to tab through this stuff and show you the way I know how to do it. So, first of all, name it. This is going to be FNIS, or Finis as it's called. 7.4.5. So, you're going to click this, you're going to click data, right click data, click set data directory. It's going to tell you that it looks good. Cool. You're done. Say 9 times out of 10, doing that right click on the data and then add to data directory will be set up correctly and it will work. You don't come across that too often. And in fact, I think the next thing it should do it, if I'm not mistaken. No, of course that would, yeah. I was mistaken apparently. So, where is that? So, anyways, if you come across that and it pops up in that little gray box, in that little box, and it says that, hey, this, it's basically saying this is formatted differently. How do you want me to handle it? Basically, what that's saying is, I can't find the data because I'm an idiot. Tell me where the data is. And that's literally all you're doing is you're just saying, okay, here's the data path. Oh, okay, now I'm good. Now it's ready to rock and roll and it'll function just fine. You won't have any problems with it whatsoever. But again, that's an oddball one. You don't see those too often. Now we'll get back to Finis in a minute because that's a tricky one. And it requires a skeleton, which is what this is. The XP32 maximum extended is a skeleton. Using race menu. I leave all the weapon options alone. I've tried messing with them in the past and I've had nothing but problems. So I just leave them all alone. Don't screw with them. None. I'm not using that mod. Install. So I have the skeleton, I have the race menu, I have fours. Okay, so FNIS, Finis. This is where you're going to add another executable. NIS. Now you're going to find the binary. Now this is where things get fun. So, for whatever reason, the old model organizer would just be a simple folder. In fact, I will show you. So, the old model organizer, everything was self-contained in its own folder. There's your mods, there's your overwrite, plugins, and where is your profiles there. There you go. However, for whatever reason, I think I need to find this here. So for whatever reason, they decided to change it in Mod Organizer 2. You can put Mod Organizer wherever you want. In fact, you saw I put it right here in this folder that I created. But they've changed where it is, because you click here, your mods aren't here. They're nowhere to be seen. Instead, and this is what I told you guys to write down earlier, where it told you c/user/ blah blah blah, right? So that way you could get to where it is. If I can just find it here. Mods. Yes. Yes. Okay, so For me, it's under users, mine, computer name, Matthew, app data, local, mod organizer, Skyrim Special Edition, mods, the mod, which is Finis, and then in Finis, it's under tools, and then you have a choice here, users or modders. Click generate Finis for users. And then you want this guy right here, that generate Finis for users. So anyways, we're going to copy this address as text. And then come back over here. And we're going to paste it. Cool. Now you're going to click on this generate Finis for users. Hit open. And hit add. You have now just added Finis. Now what Finis is it's an animation controller. And what it does is it loads all the animations and is the backbone, no pun intended, of making it work. So you always have to run Finis upon installation before you do anything else that requires Finis. You run it. But make sure you have the mods that are required by Finis and require Finis. In which case, in this case, that's race menu, XP32 skeleton, and then Finis itself. Those 3 mods are required for any custom animations, walks, runs, idols, anything like that you want to do, require those 3 mods. So we have them installed, they're all checked. So now we're going to go ahead and run Finis for the first time. Cool, here we go. And now you see down here there's all this text. There's 2 things that you need to worry about right out the gate. I don't care what you intend to do. If you're using Finis, you check gender and skeleton. Okay, those are the first 2 things that you check. The rest of this is if you're using those mods. So if you're using any of these mods that are listed down here, tick them and activate them. But we're good, right? So we have those 2, which are the 2 that you need. I'm not using any of those mods. Update Finis. That's going to go a little whack. I don't know if this is normal, but for me, this is normal. Watching it just go a little whack like that. It's what it's done since day 1, so I'm not too worried about it. It still works and does everything I ask it to. And just tab to it. So I have 1 warning here. What's my warning? It just thinks it's, yeah, I'm not worried about that. It'll still do exactly what it's supposed to do, but it's basically trying to do a legal check. This is their way of saying, hey, we didn't encourage illegal downloads of Skyrim. But as I showed you guys in the beginning, I clearly own the game in Steam. But anyways, Finis will still work even with that error message. It's not going to stop Finis from working. So, now you're good. There's the animations that I already now have. 258 animations from 4 different mods. Cool. So go ahead and click exit. Now, if you hit no, right here, it's going to ask you this question every single time you run Finis. And depending upon what you're doing with the game, that could end up being a lot. If you click cancel, like it says right here, it will never ask you again. I'm going to hit cancel because I don't want a shortcut on my desktop. Cool. You've run Finis. Now, every time you install or uninstall a Finis dependent mod, run Finis. That is very critical. You must run Finis every time you install or uninstall a Finis-based mod. Otherwise, you're going to load your game and everything's going to be in a T-pose. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what a T-pose is, allow me to show you Whoops, sorry. T-pose. T-pose. Really? T-pose. Beheaded T-pose. But anyways, you're getting the idea. So, if you launch a game without correctly running fitness when you should have, you'll T-pose. Which is more of a nuisance than anything. You can still move about and stuff. It's just annoying. And, quite frankly, unsightly. That might be an argument for going for UMP since most of Omus doesn't offer CBBE support. I don't know, maybe I'll switch it up this time. Maybe I'll go for UMP instead of CBBE. For those unfamiliar, UMP and CBBE are two different body types for female characters. UMP tends to be slimmer and smaller proportioned overall. CBBE tends to be a little bit thicker and larger proportioned overall. Personally, I've always preferred CBBE, plus there's a lot more mod availability for CBBE versus UMP, and it's generally the more popular choice in Skyrim. But when Special Edition was released, UMP was the first body to be ported over to Special Edition, not CBBE. Therefore, a lot of mods have UMP support in Special Edition instead of CBBE support, whereas they might have previously had CBBE support in Old Rim, or both in Old Rim, depending upon the mod author and their personal preferences. But for now, with the Immersive Realms, as you saw, I left that UMP box unchecked. I'm going to go ahead and skip it for now. And I will come back to that later if I choose to. Because that's another thing. By doing it this way in the downloads, I can just reinstall the mod from this folder again and just overwrite it with the new information. So actually, I'm going to do something else here. Let's say you're not 100% sure that you do or don't want something that's optional extra. I'm hoping he structured it the right way. So what I'm going to try to do is if that was written as a separate ESP file, which is what these files over here are. These are called ESP files. They are the files that are executed to load the mod into your game. So if that UMP support was done as a separate ESP, you can download it, which I'm guessing it probably was, because it's separate here, not just included. So you can download it. Whoops, that was stupid. I screwed up. I forgot to rename it, so it asked me to override it. Sorry, that was my bad. Exclusive armors. Place. So now it asked me to override it. I could have merged it, replace it, you know, blah blah blah. That gives you the options. In this case, I just want to flat out replace it. So it'll be as though I installed it this way from the get-go. And then if that was written as a separate ESP, I can show you guys how to download it so you don't have to make, you know, go back and re-download a mod. But you can also deactivate it, because that, I have a feeling, will probably also flag UMP as essential for being needed. Why did it do that? Really? Well, it's just going to make a complete and total lie of me. Never mind. Actually, that's one thing you can't do. There's one disadvantage, I'd say, of Mod Organizer. You can't download, download / install, I'll say, multiple mods at the same time. You do have to do them one at a time, which kind of sucks, but it's a minor thing. Right. So this is another one of those situations. So for the Apache I can't talk. Apache Skyhero. And it shows up all this random stuff. Looks super intimidating. It really doesn't matter. First of all, these are images. They're JPEG files. And it's a text file. Versus the data file, which is what you really care about. So click on it, right click, set data. Looks good. Now you have the meshes, the textures, and the ESM file, which is similar to is like the core coding sort of. The ESP is what the game reads and uses, what Mod Organizer reads and uses to inject it in the game. The ESM file is the master file that that the mod author created. So now version 1.6, right? Yes. So, full disclaimer, this is a cheat mod. What it does, Steam locks your, actually not even just Steam, Skyrim itself does it, special edition anyways, locks your achievements when it detects mods. Whether they're from the Creation Club, or whether they're from Nexus, or a random website. Wherever you got your mods from, doesn't really matter, they don't care, Bethesda doesn't care. It's once it detects mods, it locks achievements on that game. It doesn't care that you're playing with mods, but it doesn't allow you to earn achievements. Which I don't necessarily care for. I think that's kind of stupid. Because yes, some mods are straight up cheating. But some mods are just visual improvements. You know, some of them are texture updates. Some of them are weather overhauls that make the game better to play, but don't actually impact the gameplay itself. It's not cheated necessarily. So, anyways, for it, against it, indifferent. I am choosing to install this on my game because I know that I've already got most of the achievements. I have 23 out of 75 achievements. And yeah, so I already have a few of the achievements, which, by the way, I'm already using mods. I have been since Special Edition was released, because I already got the achievements on Old Rim. And B, I don't care. I just want to unlock achievements. It annoys me that they lock them. As you can see here on Old Rim, I have 71 out of 75 achievements. And this is just PC. I played Old Rim back on the 360 as well. So at this point, I'm beyond really caring about whether I have mods in my game and I'm still getting the achievements, because I'm only updating the environment around me, not the gameplay. But this is where it gets interesting. So Nexus Mod Manager. So manually plugins, SKSE. So this is where it gets interesting. You do need to pay attention to this, because there are specific things that need to be, specific instructions. For example, this one needs to be manually installed. You can't just install it from Mod Organizer. So data. Cool, we have two files, plugins and SKSE. Data. So to install manually, install my DLL loader manually or SKSC. I have SKSC 64. Copy. These two. Into the data folder. Cool. So yeah, that's it. Drag and drop to that one. Pretty simple. So where was I? Fair heads up. Book covers, Skyrim is great. I mean, it was really good. But it is a massive file. It takes a while to download. But, like I said, it's great. It's definitely worth it. Now better dialogue controls is also really good, and its counterpart usually shows up somewhere past right with it, usually on the following page. But its counterpart, better message box controls. This is a bug I didn't even know was a bug until I heard about these two mods. I found out about these two mods because they were a requirement for a quest mod I downloaded. The name of that one escapes me at the moment. However, these two mods were a life changer for me. I didn't even realize how big of a problem it was. Like, I probably would have or could have, but it wasn't something that like bothered me enough, I guess. But then once I saw the difference that those two mods made, I cannot mod a game without those. It just drives me crazy now because I know how bad it was. Like, you click on one option, and I'll just show you. Yeah, exactly, right? Some options always selected with the keyboard. You can still click other options directly with the mouse. So anyways, you can scroll up and down. But I never realized how you could click on one option And it would pick a completely and totally different random option from the dialogue list. And it's like, well, I didn't say that. I didn't ask you to say that. So this is my favorite thing about this, is you can now use the keyboard to navigate through message boxes. And they expanded the clickable area. I actually don't think I realized that. Yep. This makes smithing less of a pain in the ass because you don't have to manually click everything. You can literally just use your arrow keys on your keyboard and hit enter. Or alchemy is another one. Alchemy and enchanting are two pains in the asses that this makes somewhat better. Whoops, I accidentally hit caps lock. Version. Come on, come on, come on. 2.72. Hey. I like SFO trees only. The grass is really well done in Special Edition, so I don't actually use a grass mod, and I don't feel the need to download the full SFO. So I just do the trees only version, and I don't use Verdant anymore. In Old Room, I had problems with Verdant. It was never stable enough. I could never get it. It was stable, but the performance impact was way too bad. No matter how toned down I made it in the any configuration, I could never make it a good experience. It was just bad luck on my part. I couldn't handle that one. And in Special Edition, I don't need it. The grass in Special Edition is awesome. I used to use Audio Overhaul of Skyrim 2 in Old Room. It has not been ported to Special Edition to my knowledge. So the next best thing that I found was this Immersive Sounds Compendium. I've had no issues with it. It sounds awesome. I usually use my headset, but every once in a while I'll play it through surround speakers and it sounds great. Now, uniques I like because it changes things up. For example, this weapon here is Aegisbane, which you find on Elaine Dufont and Raudbathar, which are in the Dark Brotherhood quest. I don't remember the title of it. I'm not going to pretend that I do. It's the one where you kill the bandit leader who screwed over his girlfriend to steal from some rich people in Windhelm. Anyways, normally he's carrying an iron warhammer. It's called Aegisbane and has an enchantment. Well, with uniques, it looks like this, which is friggin' awesome, because nothing in vanilla Skyrim is this spiky. So, I like it. It changes things up a little bit. It makes finding a unique weapon actually unique. Versus, oh, it's a special, I'd say quotations special, Iron Warhammer, Iron Dagger, or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's just another one. Versus his retextures of this, which are freaking phenomenal. Realistic ragdolls enforced. I love this mod. I prefer realistic because it stops you from shooting somebody and then they go and fly across the map once they get hit with the arrow. So I very much like this mod. I am debating on Frostfall this time around. I've kind of sort of played with Frostfall a little bit here and there. I've never actually had much luck with it, and I've never necessarily cared for it. I feel like it's too restricting, but then again, I get that's part of the gameplay. But I do like using Campfire for the sake of role-playing. So I am going to I'm going to go ahead and get Campfire anyways, even though I may or may not get Frostfall, just for the sake of immersion. And here, it took so long, but here is my favorite hair mod. Chaos hairdos. I absolutely love it. I usually end up downloading Apache because it's a requirement for other mods. And that's why I think it's just kind of default made its way into my mod list. But I very rarely use hairs from it. I almost always use hairs from Chaos hairdos. They're so good. Like, I can't even describe how much I like these because they're just that good. Now, there are a few different options here for book covers mod that I was talking about. I like it because it makes books very unique compared to what they used to be. I mean, you look at a vanilla book and it's kind of like blah kind of thing, right? Versus these retextures, like they actually made it like, oh hey, that's interesting. I want to go see that book. I want to pick that up and actually maybe read it. Like, they definitely made books a lot better with this. And there's a couple of different options. So, yeah. Anyhow, they have a couple of different options here. They have a desaturated version, and then they have the original version. And then languages. There's the different languages you can get if you need to. The main is English. I've never downloaded the language translations, so I've only done it so it's English. But if you need any of the other languages available, French, German, Italian, Polish, Russian, Spanish, you need this one too. But highly recommend it. Cloaks of Skyrim. This is always a nice one. It makes things different. Even just this mod. The first time I downloaded Cloaks of Skyrim, and I think I had like a couple other things, just even having the cloaks made a huge difference in the game. It was insane, actually. How such a small detail can make such a huge difference with the game and the experience of that playthrough of the game. And being quite honest, if it wasn't for mods, I wouldn't have nearly the time into Skyrim, Old Rim, or even Special Edition that I do. To be honest, if it wasn't for mods, I probably never played Special Edition. Because, yeah, sure, they retextured a few things and made it more storage optimized, so they get the same quality and less storage, but what's the point of me playing the game when if I'm going to play vanilla, I'll just go play Skyrim, the original one. So, but because of mods, I've actually bothered to play again and again and again and again. I mean, they really do make the difference in giving you the inspiration to want to play them again. Whoops. Clicked on the wrong immersive. That does sometimes happen. Immersive sounds component. Version 2.2, that is indeed correct. Main files. So I haven't messed with this, I haven't changed anything. So I'm not going to change anything now, but if you'll notice, they said right here, if you want to hear differences, so you know what they're talking about, gives you a link to the YouTube channel to go check it out and hear the differences. Hear the differences. So I've never changed it, and I like it exactly the way it is out of the box, so to speak. So I'm not going to change it now. I forgot how many sound options there were. Cool. That I do wish is that Mod Organizer had made these menus a little bit larger when these, I think they're called Bane installers, but when these anyways, whatever they're called, the installers, when they pop up, I wish they were larger. I have yet to find a way to make them default to a larger size. But I do like pulling them up because sometimes there'll be important diagrams or pictures over here for comparisons to help you make your choice. I'm very tempted, just for the sake of making things interesting, I'm very tempted with experimenting with high. Typically, I just do realistic and leave it there, but I'm very tempted to try high force this time. I can always change it later, so I think I will go for high force just to make things interesting and fun. And it still takes into account the modifier of weight. So, like, you're not going to send a giant flying across the map. Although that would be something to see, wouldn't it? Take on a giant. Shoot it with your arrow. Woo! All the way across the map. Oh, that's in Markov now from right one. Whoops. That would be hilarious. I wonder if there's a way to make that happen. I'm going to have to look into that because that sounds like a very good idea to try and make that happen. SEVR, Special Edition VR Edition. Because, like I said, it's a large file. Main version installs everything. Perfect. Chaos Hairdos, by the way, as a side note, is also a large file. technically this one's cheating. Allows you to set the kill move to 100%. And the reason that it's technically cheating is because in Skyrim, during a kill move, you are invulnerable. Yeah, you're invulnerable. You can't be attacked. You can't take damage. You can't be staggered. Nothing. So by setting the kill move to 100%, you almost make yourself invincible. So yeah, it's technically cheating, but I like it because, let's be honest, kill moves are awesome. This is a mod by Manny GT, Legends of Skyrim. I like it. I like it because it adds more light to the roads and towns. Like the random villages like Rorikstead and Riverwood and stuff. He does great mods. He also has another mod that we're going to actually get as well. Yeah, the Grey Cow Nocturnal. This is a very fun quest mod, which I will eventually play. I'm debating on maybe doing a Let's Play series with this modded game, hence why I keep saying we will. As you watch this, if you think that'd be a great idea, leave it down in the comments. Let me know if you think would be something you'd be interested in. But this is also a mod by Manny GT, and this was friggin' phenomenal. I loved it. Some of the textures are a little bit repetitive in certain areas, but overall, the story, the voice acting, the thought behind the quests, and just the details were amazing. And it adds a pretty decently sized world space as well. So I thought he did a great job with it. Given that the vanilla game never even talks about the Grey Cow of Nocturnal and what transpired after the end of the Thieves Guild in Oblivion, in which the player character, if they chose to, became the Grey Fox. They never talked about what happened to the Grey Fox after that, and why Skyrim's Thieves Guild doesn't seem to adhere to the same structure or tradition of the Grey Fox being the leader. And they never really talk about it too much, and if they do, I'm not familiar with it. But I felt like this did a pretty good job of explaining things. So, great job on that, Manny GT. That was phenomenally well done. I have played it several times now, and I will continue to play it because it is so good. Now, Amazing Follower Tweaks is probably technically cheating as well, because it increases the number of followers that you can have from 1 to, well, I want to say it was like 64 at one point or something like that. It was obscene. Manage followers 64, yeah. Active followers 7, okay. So, yeah. I like having more than one follower sometimes. I usually start using this towards, like, end game, like when I've beaten a lot of the quests and I'm just kind of, like, BSing around anyways with no real goal. That's usually about the point where I'll start using this. And I'm actually going to not... Yeah, but maybe I want Pinot. Pinot doesn't do anything. I'm going to download the main version, which you have fewer, but still multiples, because I want to get Pinot. Now, anybody who's a fan of MXR mods or MXR plays, you guys know who Pinot is. For those who don't know, Pinot is a walking, talking mushroom who is totally badass. And I only know of Pino because of MXR. But now he gets a place in every playthrough. Now here we have an exceptionally good mod. This is Breeze Home Overhaul. This was created by Eleonora. She does a lot of house mods. And she mods all Elder Scrolls games. And she also does, in Fallout 4, she did a shop mod as well with some clothing mods as well in Fallout 4. But in Skyrim, she really tends to do player homes. Eleonora's work is amazing. Anytime I see one of her mods, I always download it and usually stays in my game. I usually don't delete it. In this case, I tried a few Breeze Home mods, and then she had announced that she had uploaded this one. And I absolutely fell in love with it for Breeze Home. So this is my new replacement Breeze Home. And it's really, really good. Eleonora's work is phenomenal. She puts a lot of time and effort into her work, and the level of detail and organization. It looks and feels lived in, but slightly sloppy, but also super organized. Like, it's a very careful kind of sloppy almost. Like you would place like that knapsack just sitting there, or the things in the barrels and on the shelf. Like, it's not sloppy work. It's very like you would just throw something on the table as you walk in the door or something, kind of. But it's very precise level of that kind of lived in feel. I mean, she just did such an amazing job with this. It's great. And plenty. That's one of her other homes. Plenty of storage for your weapons and cheese and, well, let's be honest, she's just going to dump potions and cheese in your home. That's usually what you'd end up doing. But, yeah, it's very good. It has a permanent space in my modded games. And it's not free either. In-game, it's not free. You still have to buy Breeze Home. It's not like you can just download this mod and, oh, you have a home right out the gate. You still have to meet the prerequisites to get Breeze Home to be able to get Breeze Home. It doesn't just hand you Breeze Home for free. So it's still going to cost you the 5,000 gold to get Breeze Home from the Jarl. One thing I haven't experimented with, and maybe this will be the playthrough I check it, I've never bought Breeze Home and then just went to the house and saw what was there. I always bought it, updated it, completely, and then went there. I don't know if she put any stipulation in there for if you bought all the upgrades or not. That would actually be very interesting to check out. Because clearly I just never bothered. I am going to go ahead and install Frostfall, or download Frostfall rather. But I make no guarantees that I will activate it just yet. Grey Calvin Nocturne is getting installed, but it's definitely not going to get activated yet. I tend to not do this until I've at least completed or almost completed the Thieves Guild quest. Alright, now we got through that. Book covers. Version 4.2. Like I said, it does take time to really get downloading the mods and get them all installed. I wish there was a faster way to do it, but there really isn't. If you want to support the mod authors and their work, there really isn't a faster way. I know people use sites like ModDrop and stuff, and the problem with that is that the authors don't get credit for their work. Which, I mean, let's be honest, some of these authors put months and months and years into these mods, into this work. I mean, there are some mod authors that have been working on projects for mods for Skyrim for 5-6 years, like the Beyond Skyrim team. I mean, that's a whole that's a friggin' modding company that started as an idea, and now they've set it up with Patreon to still get paid and supported, and that turned it into something that they're literally spending all their time on. And someone uploads it on ModDrop or something, and then they get no credit for their work, which sucks. That's why I use Nexus, because by downloading it and endorsing it, it gives credit to the original mod author. Or, in the case of Special Edition, mods ported with permission. Because that happened a lot actually in the beginning of Special Edition. Some of the original mod authors in Skyrim just didn't have the time to port some of their stuff over that people really wanted ported over. So there would be people who got permission from the original mod author to port their work over for them. So still, the original mod author was given credit for the mod, and then the person who ported it gets credit for porting it. So both people or parties, because it might be one name, one author, but it might be a group of people that worked on it. But anyways, in that situation, both parties then get accredited for their work. Which, to me, as someone who is of my own, trying to learn some basic coding, because I want to start making mods myself, I really do want to keep giving the original authors credit. Is shade containers available for Special Edition? What? They did. Yes, they... Wow, I didn't know this was on Special Edition now. Because I didn't look hard enough for it. Oh, this is getting downloaded. It's a utility mod. It's nothing that you will probably ever screw with. But it is a utility mod that a lot of other mods use. And the fact that it is available on Special Edition is really good. Because it has... I don't understand exactly what it does, but I know it has a lot of functionality. And it's a very prevalent mod in Old Rim. So it's good to see it in Special Edition. But sheesh. Manual. This is the mod where you can get Pinot. I know it seems like totally random. I don't care about the button go. I care about Pinot. Now, hopefully, last time I downloaded this mod, for whatever reason, I had a problem. And that I couldn't go anywhere near the Alchemist Shack, which is where you find her and Pinot, without my game crashing. I don't know why. I never did figure it out. In fact, I ended up just unenabling the mod. But yeah, it was just a weird issue that I never figured out. So hopefully in this game I'll be able to go get Pinot. Alrighty then. Indigo's funny. There's immersive weapons. BGN NPCs. And BGN wives. Now. I'm gonna wish I had nuked that file. This might be the point where I have to make a decision on a body texture. Better quest objectives. I like this mod. It makes the quest objectives, fixes a couple things. It fixes the actual alignment of quest objectives, the markers, but it also makes the description sometimes better as well. So you see how it keeps telling me what I need. Sometimes it doesn't happen. No, it might not recognize it needs something. But if the mod author told Nexus that it needs it, it'll pop up and say, hey, make sure you have this. Scoy Horde. Here we go. So, earlier I was trying to say how you can move ESPs from available to optional to basically disable an individual ESP if you don't want it. Now, that didn't work when I tried to do it with immersive armors, although I feel like it probably should have. However, with this, it does work. So, I might eventually go in and download the Parthenos Dilemma patch. Sorry, not patch, I'm reading the screen. The Parthenos Dilemma mod. Now, what that mod does is it gives you the choice to save Parthenos and continue the Blades quest line. I've only ever played the Blades quest line once. It sucked. So I just ignored at this point and do nothing, one way or the other. So I just walk away from it at that point. I don't care about Delphine and Nesburn anyways. But in case I decide to get that mod later, this way it's already downloaded and I don't have to worry about going through the installer again. And then just move it up here. And then this is where it gets tricky. You have to make sure you uncheck it and then recheck it. Cool, that's done. So now the mod organizer knows that it doesn't have to look for that file anymore. Because otherwise, I'm going to get an error that tells me, hey, you're missing a master. Hey, you're missing a master. When in reality, I'm not. This error is for overwrite. You're always going to have it. Just ignore it. It doesn't do anything. Skyhide. Well, let's see here. Oblivion. Right. Oops. What? That's why. Never mind. Fuck. Yes, I know I just downloaded this, but the immersive HUD thing wasn't an optional ESP. So, I don't actually want immersive HUD. It wasn't the one I thought it was. What was the one I was thinking of? Extra HUD or something like that? There was a mod in Old Rim where by putting your cursor over something in game, it would tell you about the item, and then it would also show you your inventory space and weight. So basically it'd be like, here's a potion. It's a potion of minor healing worth 40 gold. And it shows you the value. And then it would show you in the corner, it'd be like, plus how much weight. And then it would show you your current weight. So you could know, A, do I have the space to pick it up? And B, is this item worth it? And it also give you a little description about the effect, what it does. So if you're looking at a plant, or not the plant, the ingredient, let's say, it will show you what you know that ingredient does right beside it, which is pretty convenient actually. Cannot remember the name of that mod though, but it was a good one for Old Rim. Immersive weapons. BG Lives. Tune watch 112. Yes, that is correct. All in one. Yep. So I do need to make a choice. Well, as I was talking about earlier about giving credit to the mod author. This is my preferred iMod for Skyrim. It is awesome. Son of a... Well, I had no clue that actually merged all three of them, but if it did, that's awesome. Well, we'll find out. It's the first time I've ever tried to do that, actually. While I'm thinking about it. Alright, well, I think at this point we're going to call it a night. And I'm going to keep downloading some more mods. And then next time, if I come across anything that's, unique, then I'll let you know about it. And I think next time we're going to decide on a body, for sure. Because right now I'm not sure what I want to do with that. So I'm going to finish downloading these mods here that I already have in my tabs. And then that's going to be it. So enjoy watching the last couple mods and have a great night.